Welcome back to the Bears Baseball Network. A very eventful weekend of Bears baseball. A lot of fun to get back out there after the rain last weekend. And getting right into the results, how about a 5-0 championship weekend for the 8U Nickerson boys, their first full tournament of the season. They go 5-0, win the chip, and a great weekend for these boys. KJ, how about 8U Nickerson? You know, there was some hype around this team coming into the year, but I got to say, even I didn't think they were going to come out this hot and really take care of business in the first weekend. I don't know if you got a chance to check out one of their games, but give me your thoughts on 8U Nickerson and their 5-0 first weekend as a team.
Yeah, I came down and watched a little bit of one game, and I saw the opposing pitcher have a helmet on because they were hitting the ball so hard. I mean, these guys are just they're hitting them way harder than the other teams, and it goes to show how far we can come. We've put in the work. They were not a very good team last year. They came out this weekend and were just crushing the ball.
Yeah, and one thing, for me, machine pitch ball is very simple. The thing about machine pitch ball is that there's 5-run rule per inning, and if whichever defense is able to keep the other team from getting their 5-run rule more times usually wins, right? That's how I kind of measure machine pitch teams. The 8U Nickerson squad, before the championship game, their first 4 games, only got 5-run rule 2 times in the entire tournament. Very, very impressive for their defense to just continually pick up those outs because at the plate, they were getting a lot of 5-run innings, and it was just really tough for the opposing team to do it. The other team that I look at, or the other thing that I look at in machine pitch is how often you put the ball in play, right? Typically, defense is not necessarily gold glove at machine pitch. This 8U Nickerson squad only struck out 5 times the entire tournament. It was very, very impressive to watch these boys work, and it's going to be a great season for the 8U Nickerson guys. We had another team go 5-0 and win their championship. 14U Floyd continues their dominant run. They have not lost a game in the month of April. They've been absolutely dominant. Bernie, I know you got a chance to check these guys out a little bit. Definitely following them on Game Changer. But give me your thoughts on the 14U boys this weekend.
It's just it's a deep team, both on the mound and at the plate. You have the big dogs at the top. We all know them: Jack Dalton, Land Nickerson, Willerette, Ben Combs turned into a superstar. And on the mound, you guys like Logan Eckert, Andrew Willerette threw a really good game this weekend. Braden King, Jack Dalton, all the top dogs there. So, just how deep this team is. This team, I heard Rob say they didn't even play well this weekend. They still went 5-0. That's how impressive this team can be.
Yeah, I was going to say if there were a weak portion of this team, it might be the defense. They're not necessarily, they've stacked this team with a lot of hitters and a lot of pitchers. They kind of took a step back on defense. And this weekend, they were not that sharp defensively, but their hitting and pitching was able to overcome all of it. And they're a team that's only going to get better defensively as the season goes on. So very, very impressive for them. 14U, dominant so far this season. Again, has not lost a game in April. So let's see if they can go undefeated again this weekend. That's an entire month without a loss. That'd be very, very impressive. But we had a lot of hacks this weekend, a long tournament for a lot of guys, a lot of doubles, a lot of triples, a lot of home runs. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of them. It's hacking time. And how about all those hacks? Tons of doubles, triples, and homers from the weekend. And even our high school guys getting involved. A lot of home runs at high school ball as well. You got to see those there, so very, very impressive. Let's go ahead and move into our standout performances of the week. We've each collected 4 standout performances. We're going to run through them rapid fire like we've been doing. KJ, we'll start with you. Give me your first standout performance of the weekend.
Yeah, I'm going to go Paxton the Plant. He hit north of 570 at the plate with over a 1,300 OPS, a couple doubles, and 4 walks.
Logan Payne is my first standout performance. He had a little bit of a slow weekend last weekend, or the last weekend we played, but this weekend, 8 for 10 with a double, 5 RBIs, and 7 runs scored.
Yeah, my first player from 13, Floyd, Lucas Wilburn. Willie B goes 8 for 10, bat 800 this weekend with an extra base hit in there as well.
I'm going to stay at third for you. I'm going to go to Trevor Anderson, 3 2/3 on the mound this weekend, 9 Ks, and he also did some damage at the plate with 4 RBIs.
My next player is going to be Ivan Saxon. He was 7 for 11 at the plate this weekend, 3 doubles, and a 1659 OPS.
Yeah, I'll stick with 13, Floyd here. It'll be Landon Meyer. Maybe got off to a little bit of a slower start, but this weekend went 5 for 10 with 3 doubles, 2 of which are easily home runs of not playing on a big high school field at Woodlands.
I'm going to go with this guy. Once again, Harrison Blowbaum, 6 hits this weekend, hit for the cycle this week, and had a couple singles, double, triple, and a dinger.
Yeah, fantastic weekend for him. My next guy's going to be Logan Ecker, who just continues to shove. 7 innings, 8 Ks, no walks, and a 2 ERA this weekend.
My next player from my 11 squad will be Rowan Damschroeder, who went bat 500 this weekend with a pair of doubles.
I'm going to go with the guy you probably saw on Hack of the Week, Kobe Kennedy, home run, 1843 OPS this weekend.
I'm going to go with the guy we've talked a lot about in the early season, but he continues to earn it. Aaron Clayton, 4 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 Ks to just 1 walk.
Yeah, I'll go to 13U Bell. This guy's been one of the most underrated pitchers, I think, on that pitching staff so far. Josiah Leaker goes 4 innings with 3 hits, allowing 1 run with 8 Ks.
Let's go ahead and move into our standout player of the weekend. We each picked one guy who is our standout player of the weekend. I'll go ahead, KJ. You go first here. Give me your standout player of the weekend.
I'll go to Nifri Kabarkis here. He made his pitching debut this weekend for the season. 5 innings, 11 Ks over 2 games. And he also did damage at the plate, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs on the weekend.
Yeah, Nifri Kabarkis, I would say the one thing about him that you'd always expect is the power. And he's had some shots, no doubt, this season. But this weekend, it really felt like he was hitting the ball hard all weekend long. And got his first real opportunity on the mound this season. And was definitely lights out. So, great job by Nifri Kabarkis. Bernie, give me your standout player of the weekend.
My standout player of the weekend from the 5-0 14 Floyd squad, Jack Dalton, who went 9 for 14 this weekend with 2 triples. And I know also on Sunday he pitched a very good game and a win for them.
Yeah, got to win. And, this 14U Floyd squad is used to winning these big, high-scoring games. Jack Dalton was able to pitch a 3-1 victory on Sunday. Very, very impressive. Again, a team that's not built necessarily as a defensive squad. They're built to score a lot of runs. In this game, it was 2 good pitchers going against each other, and Jack Dalton was able to come out on top. But like you said, Bernie, the bat has been unbelievable. 9 for 14. That basically sums up what he's done all season long. I'm going to go with another guy from a 5-0 team, but not 14U Floyd, 8U Nickerson. Blake Nickerson was 19 for 21 this weekend, 6 doubles, 4 triples, did not strike out the entire weekend. A very, very impressive weekend for Blake Nickerson. Absolutely dominant at the plate in the 5-0 weekend for 8U Nickerson. All right, let's go ahead and get into our next segment. We got a couple of meters. If you remember last year, we had the Legitometer. We're bringing it back here. Here's how the Legitometer works. Basically, I'm going to give you guys a player's performance to this point in the season. It is their full season stats, and I want you to tell me how legit you think it is. If you give me a 10, that means you think this is exactly what this player is going to be all season long. You give me a 1, that means you think this guy's going to be the exact opposite what he's been so far. And obviously anything in between. Let's go ahead and Bernie, I'll start with you here. KJ, you're going to give a number as well, but we'll start with Bernie. Bernie, this guy's on your team. Ben Nichols, specifically talking about his pitching here. He's been very good. 11 innings pitched, 13 Ks, a 3.18 ERA, and 1.91 whip. Give me a number 1 to 10 on the Legitometer for Ben Nichols' pitching stats.
I'll give him like a solid 8. I think he's been very good so far, but at 11, you a 3.1 ERA. A 3.18 ERA is better than, it just sounds on the surface. That is pretty dominant for 11U, which is usually a higher scoring game. So the ERA will rise a bit, but he'll still be just as dominant.
KJ, what do you think here? Give me a number on the Legitimeter for Ben Nichols.
Yeah, I'm going to go up to a 9. I kind of predicted a couple weekends ago Ben Nichols is going to be the best pitcher on this team. And like Bernie said, a 3.18 ERA is about an equivalent to an under 1 ERA at the older ages. This guy's dominant, 13 Ks in 11 innings. Seems legit to me.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if I agree with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and give Benny a 10 on the Legitimeter. I think that this stat so far, 11 innings, 13 Ks, so a little over a strikeout per inning, a low threes ERA, a 1.9 whip, which is very good at the 11U level. I think this is about what I expect from Ben Nichols. Maybe he's closer to a 3.5 or a 3.7 ERA, but somewhere in the mid threes. I think this is what Ben's going to be all season long. A lot of confidence in this guy, and I give him a 10 on the Legitimeter so far. All right, KJ, we'll start with you this time, a player on your team, Paxton LaPlante. This is a guy who's hitting .571 on the season, a 1307 OPS, 2 doubles this year, and he's walked 4 times to just 2 strikeouts. KJ, talking about Paxton's hitting here, give me a 1 to 10 on the Legitimeter.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 9 again. It was we knew he wasn't going to strike out a lot. He was going to put a lot of balls in play, but biggest thing that surprised me is his the OPS. He's been hitting for more power. He's been hitting extra base hits. And if you've watched him, he's not just hitting, little dinky doubles. He's hitting some shots over the outfielders' heads.
Bernie, what do you think here for Paxton?
I don't give my same number again, but I'll give him a solid 8 again. I just think the power is clearly there, but I think his average is going to fall a little bit. It's .571. That's nearly impossible to hold. I think it's somewhere around like 470, between 470, 490-ish. But I think it's pretty legit.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and be with you, Bernie. I'm going to go with an 8 for Paxton LaPlante here. Again, I think Paxton's off to a hot start, and I think he's going to mostly sustain it. I think we're going to see the numbers come down a little bit back to earth. I think he's really, really hot right now. And when we look back, I think we're going to be looking at a mid to high 400s batting average, a mid to high 1100s OPS, and I think he's going to be a very solid player for this 12U squad. Let's go ahead and go back to the other side of the scope here with Logan Meyer. He's off to not so great of a start. A .238 batting average, .867 OPS. He's walked 6 times to 6 strikeouts, and he does have 4 doubles so far in the season. I'm going to start with you, Bernie. Logan Meyer, a lot of hype preseason, off to a little bit of a slow start here. Give me your thoughts on Logan, a number 1 to 10 on the Legitimeter.
I mean, I'll give it like a solid 3. The power's still there. He still got the 4 extra base hits, but obviously the average is going to rise. I think he'll be well over 400 by the time the season ends. I think he's still a top 3 or 4 hitter on that squad.
KJ, what do you think here for Logan?
I'm going to go with a 2. Obviously, like Bernie said, the extra base hits are there. In my opinion, I think if Logan, he's got a little more walks than I would think he would have, which means maybe he's being a little too patient. I think if he starts swinging the bat more, maybe his strikeouts go a little bit up, but I think that OPS and that average are going to go way up after he starts swinging that bat more. It's Logan Meyer, so I think these stats are definitely going to rise, and I don't think it's very legit.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 2 as well. KJ, you mentioned the 6 walks to 6 strikeouts. I think both those numbers are a little high. Logan typically has been a player who's very aggressive, doesn't strike out much, and doesn't walk much, right? He goes up to the plate ready to hit. And I think Logan, you've seen, the power's still there. He's one of the highest extra base hit guys on 13U Floyd. So power's not the problem. All he's missing right now is the singles. And I think he's gotten A, a little bit unlucky, and B, he's just not seeing it well right now. And, it's early season. I think he's going to get hot really quick. Even this Sunday in the championship game, he had 2 really hard hit balls, and that may be all it takes for Logan to really get going. Landon wasn't quite off to as bad a start, but Landon was off to a little bit of a not Landon start, and this weekend was right back to it. Looked like the best hitter on the team. So I think Logan's going to jump right back into what he's been doing. I think it's a 2 on the Legitimeter, what Logan's done so far. Let's move into Ivan Saxon, a guy who, when we talk about the big 4 on this 14U Floyd team, Ivan kind of gets left out of that, but he's off to a scorching start, hitting .500, 1329 OPS, 10 walks to 3 strikeouts, and 5 doubles. The average OPS and doubles all second on 14U Floyd. KJ, Ivan Saxon, a scorching start. Give me a number on the Legitimeter here.
Yeah, I'm going to give Ivan a solid 6. And I'm going to give him that because Ivan's obviously a great player, but the thing I see that sticks out, 10 walks to 3 Ks, 5 doubles. It seems like Ivan's super locked in. He's seeing beach balls up there. You can assume that he's not going to keep this pace up at the as high as a level as 14U's playing. Now, I think Ivan's going to have a great season, but, these stats have to go down a little bit. But, the fact of it is that he's a top player on that team is legit.
Bernie, what do you think here?
Yeah, I'll give Ivan a solid 7 here. Right in the heart. He's been 2 in this order, I think, for every game basically. And he's sitting right near Dalton, Willerette, Ben Combs, Dickerson. He's been in the middle of those guys. You look past in the past seasons, man. All this Ivan does is hit, man. All he does is hit, and I think he's proved his spot there in the 2 spot. And I think he will continue. Maybe not bat 500, but between like that 430, 450 range. And it looks like his power is also here to stay this year.
All right, I'm gonna disagree with both of you guys a little bit. I'm gonna go with a 9 here on the Legitimeter, and I'll tell you what. I think what did Ivan hit last year? High 400s. I think he was more of a 1200 OPS guy. He's got a 1329 right now. I agree. 10 walks to 3 Ks probably isn't sustainable, and that's why I give him a 9 instead of a 10. But you got to understand that this guy's hitting in the middle of a bunch of powerhouses. I think if one thing's not going to be sustainable, he's probably not going to be the second highest OPS on the team. But I don't think Ivan's going to go down. I just think Landon and Ben and Andrew's going to go up. I think Ivan, I expect him to hit 480, 490. I expect him to have a high 1200 OPS. So I think this is going to be very close to his final season numbers. I think Ivan is absolutely killing it this season, and I think that this is very close to what he's going to be for the entire season. Let's move into another one of our meters, the Believometer. This is a brand new one here for the Bears Baseball Network. The way the Believometer works, I'm going to give you a statement, and you give me a scale of 1 to 10. A 1 means you think it's almost guaranteed not going to happen. A 10 means you think it is 100% guaranteed going to happen. Bernie, we're going to start with you here. The first statement on the Believometer. The youth MVP for the summer will be one of Harrison Blabaum, ZZ Garcia, Lucas Wilburn, or Jack Dalton. A 1 to 10 on the Believometer.
I mean, I'll give it like a solid 7 here. Obviously, there's a lot of good players not in this field here, but as I might be a little biased here, I think Blabaum's the favorite here. I think I could always give him like a 5 or 6 by himself, and then you add in ZZ Garcia, who I said could be the Bass 412U this year, and then like Wilburn and Dalton, who are also off to great starts.
Okay, KJ, what do you think here on the Believometer?
I'm going to go with a 6. Obviously, I agree with Bernie. I think Blowbaum is going to be the favorite here. What Lucas Wilburn has done on the mound this year has been dominant. What ZZ and Jack do at the plate. But there's some very, very good players left off that 4. Landon Nickerson, Ben Combs, Andrew Willerette, Brendan Bash, Jacob Mon, the Meyer twins. There's a ton of players I can think of right now. Jordan Waring's had a great season. So there's a ton of really good players there. So, I do think that Blowbaum is a front runner right now, but I'm just going to go with a 6 here.
Okay. So these 4 players are the OPS leaders for these 4 teams so far this season. That's why I selected these 4 specifically. I'm going to go ahead and go with an 8. I think that these 4 are definitely the front runners right now. Of course, a lot of good players not left out of the conversation here, but you've got 4 guys here who might hit over 700. I think Blabaum's definitely going to hit over 700, and those other 3 are definitely in the conversation. Even Jack at 14U could hit over 700, and you probably got the home run leader in Harrison Blabaum on here. I think it's going to be a tough group to outbeat. I'm going to go ahead and give that one an 8. Let's go ahead and move into our next statement. KJ, I'll let you start with this one. 14U Floyd will win the most games of any Bear team. A 1 to 10 on the Believometer.
My 12U guys watching this might not like this, but I'm going to go with a 9. I think that 14U Floyd team is just too stacked. They got a ton of pitching. Like Bernie said, Rob told them they didn't even play that well, and they still dominated. So I think when this team's at its full force, they are going to be unstoppable. I think they do win the most games.
I'm going to give it a 9 also, but not exactly for the same reason. I agree that this team is dominant. They're very, very good. But you got to remember that at the 14U age, they get to play the longest schedule. They get to play the most games. They start when the youth teams start and end when the high school guys start. So they play more games than any other team. And I think if you're going to give this team that's already this good extra games, I think it's going to be very tough for them not to be the most winning team. Bernie, what do you think?
I'll stick with this team. I will give them a 10. I think it's going to happen. I think they are the front runners for this award, or to win the most games of any Bears team. We've already discussed this team a lot. The pitching staff they have, Landon Nickerson, Ben Combs, Willerette, 3 of the top 5 hitters in the Bears, maybe right there alone.
Okay, Bernie, you just fired up a bunch of other teams in the Bears here because you just said it is 100% going to happen. We'll see if that ends up being the case. All right, Bernie, we'll start with you on this one, the Believometer. These 2 pitchers, either Trevor Anderson, either one, doesn't have to be both, either Trevor Anderson or Aaron Clayton will pitch at some point for 13U Floyd in 2023. probably the hottest two pitching prospects in the Bears right now.
I'll give it like a 5.5 because do I think those two guys are talented enough to do so at some point this year, maybe in the fall? Yes, but who are they going to take innings from on 13 Floyd? I don't know because that rotation is very stacked. So I think a solid 5.5 because I do think they're talented enough to do so.
Okay, KJ, what do you think on the Believometer here?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 4. And I'm going to say that not because taking away anything from their pitching. Obviously, they've both been very dominant on the mound. But knowing Robbie, he's going to call him up mostly because of their offense. They got to contribute offensively as well. I don't think either of them have done enough offensively to get the call yet. And if you know you're pitching, you got to be in the lineup. So you can't be a liability hitting. So I think they both need to start hitting a little better to get the call as of right now.
Yeah, KJ, that's a great point. The Bears don't really use POs. So if you're going to be on the roster, you're going to have to hit. So I think that's a really good point. I was going to make that point. I'm going to go ahead and give it a solid 5. I think this is about a 50-50 shot. I think both these guys definitely have shown what they can do so far. I was talking to both these guys, and for them to make it to the next level, they need to do 3 things, basically. They need to, 1, be able to use their off speed. Their fastballs are both very, very good. They need to be able to use their off speed. They need to throw a little bit more strikes. I told Aaron Clayton that he needed to throw more strikes before his last start. I think it's 2 starts ago he had 8 Ks, 4 walks. I said it's got to be closer to 8 Ks, 2 walks. And this start he had 8 Ks, 1 walk. So he's on the right track. And then the third thing they got to do is they got to be able to hit. So like you said, KJ, I think it's about 50-50. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 5 out of 10. Both these guys, though, very high up on my list. The final one here, KJ, I'll let you start with this one. The Summer Youth Cy Young will come from 12U Floyd.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 5 here. And I think that we have, obviously, you got some great pitchers on the team, but that leaves out Lucas Wilburn. It leaves out, like we mentioned, Ben Nichols. Logan Eckert's had a really nice season on the mound. So I think with those big pitchers, 12U Floyd's going to have Jordan Waring, Jane Highland, what Caden Emmons done has been dominant. ZZ Garcia can sneak in there with some more innings. So I think it's kind of a 50-50 shot. You got 4 really good pitchers over here, but then you got a lot of really good pitchers like Wilburn, Eckert, and all those guys who I think are going to be big runners for that award as well.
Okay, Bernie, what do you think here? The Summer Cy Young will come from 12U Floyd. 1 to 10 on the Believometer.
I'll give it a solid. Give it like a 4 here. That's the reasons Kenny said. I know Jordan Waring's been great. It's a guy I've believed in for a long time. He's been great. I think he's like a .6 right now ERA. Jane Highland great. Caden Emmons, all great pitchers. But there's a lot of guys here in the field. I think a lot of guys, some guys have started to forget about Lucas Vilcek, who has not had a Lucas Vilcek's type start, but he is still here. I think he's still the favorite for that award. And just like all the guys, Jack Dalton, all those guys.
Okay, I'm a little bit surprised by those answers. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 7.5. I think that Jordan Waring's definitely the favorite here. I think if we were putting out odds for the Cy Young Award, I think Jordan Waring's definitely the favorite at this point. And Caden Emmons and Jaden Highland are not that far behind. A lot of good pitchers, of course, that we're leaving out here, but I think you got to go right now and think one of those 3 is probably more likely than not to win that award. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.5. All right. Let's go ahead and move into our weekend series pick'em. Last week, it was a dominant victory from Bernie. Bernie did not win any of the categories, but he did win the bonus. 14U Floyd was the highest scoring team. He also tied for the lead in 2 categories. Paxton the Plant tied for the runs scored, and Logan Payne tied for the doubles category. Phil Lobeck tied for me in the run scored category. I got 3 points from that. And Josiah Leaker won me the OBP category. And KJ was the winner of the Ks minus walks category with Ryder Beckerman. And also tied the doubles category with Lucas Wilburn. The season-long stats. Bernie currently has 32 points. KJ's got 29. And I'm bringing up the rear with 19. So I got to go ahead and turn things around this week. The 4 categories for this week: hits, RBIs, innings pitched, and strike percentage. So we got 2 pitching categories this week once again. And let's go ahead and get right into it. Bernie, you have the first pick. Tell us what category we're going to and also who you pick.
We can start with hits here. I will use my ZZ Garcia bullet right here.
Okay, ZZ Garcia. No explanation needed there. One of the best hitters in the Bears. KJ, your pick for hits.
All right, I'm going to stay at 12U here. And I'm going to go to, might surprise some people, but he's been swinging a very, very hot bat recently. Give me Avery McNichols.
Avery McNicholas, a very nice choice there from that one. I'm going to go ahead and go with a guy that we just talked about and I think is getting hot at the right time here. I'm going to go with Logan Meyer. I think people are sleeping on him right now, and I think he's going to get everybody here with a big weekend in the hits category. Bernie, where are we going to next?
We can go. Let's go to innings pitched here.
Okay, innings pitch. Go ahead, Bernie.
And I will go ahead and I will use my Jaden Highland bullet.
Okay, Bernie's coming out swinging this week. 2 big bullets off of the chamber there for Bernie. Jaden Highland, your innings pitched choice. KJ, for you.
I'm going to go to 13U here. I'm going to take Aaron Clayton for innings pitched.
He's been a consistent innings eater for that Kreitler squad. And let me make sure I haven't used this guy yet. I'm going to go ahead and go with another guy who's been a consistent innings guy. And I'm going to go ahead and go with Mason Geddes. That's my choice for innings pitch. One of the top pitchers for Bell. Bernie, where next?
Let's go to strike percentage. I'm going to go to 14U Driscoll. And I'm going to pick Chase Bottoms, who walks almost nobody for that Driscoll squad.
Chase Bottoms been a very underrated pitcher so far. I think that's a good pick, Bernie. KJ, your pick for strike percentage.
I'm going to pull out a big gun here, and I'm going to go to 12U and go with Caden Inman.
Tell you what, KJ, I was definitely considering him for myself. So now you put me in a bit of a spot here. I'm going to go ahead, and I'm going to go... I think I got to go with a big bullet myself, and I'm going to go with Logan Eckert. I need some points here, and I think Logan Eckert has been one of, if not the best strike throwers in the Bears. So give me Logan Eckert to win me that category. Bernie, let's head to RBI. Give me your choice here for RBI.
Yeah. All right, so I will go to... You know what? Let me go to my 11U squad. You know, this guy's starting to get hot. I'll take Rowan Damschroeder. That's behind a lot of big hitters.
Rowan Damschroeder had a big weekend there. KJ, your pick here for RBI.
I'm going to stay at 12U here. And I'm going to go with a guy we kind of talked about earlier. He bats in a nice RBI spot. Actually, hold on. I'm going to change that. I just thought about something.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to go to 14U here. And I'm going to go with a hot bat in Kobe Kennedy.
Ooh, okay. You made me a little nervous when you said 14U because I thought you might have taken my pick here. Because I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use another big bullet. I need some points. I'm behind right now. I'm going with Landon Nickerson. He leads the Bears in RBIs right now. I think he'll continue this weekend. Give me Landon Nickerson to take over in RBIs. Our bonus category, again, you do not get any points for second place, and it's got to be the leader in the entire Bears. It does not between us three. The entire Bears. Who will lead the weekend in innings caught? Bernie, your pick.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Because I know 13U has a couple of different guys that catch. 12U has a couple of different guys. I know I have a couple of different guys that catch. No, I won't go there. All right, I'll just stick with 12U. I'll pick up the 12U workhorse, Judd Levy.
It's a good pick, Bernie. Young Juddy, one of the highest innings caught catchers last year.
I'm going to stick at 12U, but I'm going to go to Garrett Knight.
Young Garrett, the leading catcher on that Burn squad. I'm going to go ahead and go with a guy who is definitely a workhorse back there, and going to go Joey Burgess. Young Joseph. I think he's going to lead this weekend in innings caught. All right. that's going to do it for this episode of the Bears Baseball Network. Hopefully, my weekend series pick'em guys can pick me up some points here and I can get back into the race. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Bears Baseball Network, and we'll talk to y'all